Hello once more, and welcome to chapter 19 of Roald Dahl's Matilda. Today's chapter is entitled The Practice. Matilda found the house empty, as usual. Her father was not yet back from work, her mother was not yet back from bingo, and her brother might be anywhere. She went straight into the living room and opened the drawer and the sideboard where she knew her father kept a box of cigars. She took one out and carried it up to her bedroom and shut herself in. Now for the practice, she told herself. It's going to be tough, but I'm determined to do it. Her plan for helping Miss Honey was beginning to form beautifully in her mind. She had it now in almost every detail, but in the end, it all depended on her being able to do one very special thing with her eye power. She knew she wouldn't manage it right away, but she felt fairly confident that with a great deal of practice and effort, she would succeed in the end. The cigar was essential. It was perhaps a bit thicker than she would have liked, but the weight was about right. It would be fine for practicing with. There was a small dressing table in Matilda's bedroom with her hairbrush and comb on it and two library books. She cleared these things to one side and laid the cigar down in the middle of the dressing table. Then she walked away and sat on the end of her bed. She was now about 10 feet from the cigar. There she is. She settled herself and began to concentrate. She very quickly this time felt the electricity beginning to flow inside her head, gathering itself behind her eyes, and the eyes became hot, and millions of tiny invisible hands began to move outward like sparks toward the cigar. "Move," she whispered. And in her intense surprise, almost at once the cigar, with its little red and gold paper band around the middle rolled away across the top of the dressing table and fell down onto the carpet. Matilda had enjoyed that. She was lovely doing it. It was lovely doing it. It had felt as though sparks were going round and round inside her head and flashing out of her eyes. It had given her a sense of power that was almost ethereal. And how quick it had been this time. How simple. She crossed the bedroom and picked up the cigar and put it back on the table. Now for the difficult part, she thought. But if I have power to push, then surely I also have power to lift. It is vital I learn how to lift it. I must learn how to lift it right up into the air and keep it there. It is not a very heavy thing, this cigar. She sat on the end of the bed and started again. It was easy now to summon up the power behind her eyes. It was like pushing a trigger in her brain. "Lift," she whispered. "Lift! Lift!" At first the cigar started rolling away, but then, with Matilda concentrating fiercely on one end of it, it slowly lifted up about an inch off the table. With a colossal effort, she managed to hold it there for about 10 seconds. Then it fell back again. "Whew," she gasped. "I'm getting it. I'm starting to do it." For the next hour, Matilda kept practicing, and in the end, she had managed, by the sheer power of her eyes, to lift the whole cigar off the table about 6 inches into the air and hold it there for about a minute. Then suddenly, she was so exhausted she fell back on her bed and went to sleep. There she is. She's sitting on her bed. She's practicing. Look how intense she is. That was how her mother found her later that evening. "What's the matter with you?" Mother said, waking her up. "Are you ill?" "Oh, gosh," Matilda said, sitting up and looking around. "No, I'm all right. I'm a bit tired, that's all." From then on, every day after school, Matilda shut herself in her room and practiced with the cigar, and soon it all began to come together in the most wonderful way. 6 days later, by the following Wednesday evening, she was able not only to lift the cigar up into the air, but also to move it around exactly as she wished. It was beautiful. "I can do it!" she cried. "I can really do it! I can pick the cigar up just with my eye power and push and pull it in the air any way I want." All she had to do now was to put her great plan into action. Ooh, I wonder what Matilda's gonna do. Let's find out soon.